and she started sharing some of her sexual abuse that had happened to her. What shocked me more than anything is to lift up the colonic bed and to see the biggest, longest tapeworm, probably 20, 30 years that had been in her, holding on to that trauma.
Okay, we're the Sanctuary Holistic Wellness. Thank you for joining us. Today is a very special episode. Every episode's so special, but oh my gosh, so warm in my heart with Ashley, my sister, beautiful partner.
Happy to be here.
And then
Excited.
we've got Crystal Jacobson, who is one of our light workers.
Happy to be here.
She also is in medical school and does a lot of wellness work, and she's educational work and answering a lot of your messages on Instagram, along with Trish DeMarcus, one of our light workers, who's also answering so many messages on Instagram. She's communicating with you guys all day on Instagram and booking out clients. And she's an epigenetic specialist.
Yes.
And so we're so excited to have you guys on the podcast with us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. So to get started, what led you to us? Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Trish.
What led me to you? Actually, I saw a reel that Jalen did.
Yeah.
And she had done a parasite cleanse, that someone locally that had done our cleanse, and she was very vulnerable and she was very authentic, and she shared everything of her journey along the way. And I saw it and I instantly had this feeling in my gut. I'll call it resistance.
Yeah.
But it was also a knowing that, I'm going to be doing that. I just knew I was going to be doing it.
Yeah.
And so it took me probably about 2.5 months actually to get the courage, because I knew there was an enema involved, and I just was not down for that at all.
It can be scary.
Everyone's resistant.
So
Yeah,
scary.
and I see that come up a lot in the messages. So I totally understand where you guys are coming from. I had the fear. I had done cleanses before, a lot of cleanses. I've done Cellcore, I've done ivermectin, I'd done a lot of cleanses, but never really saw anything. So seeing her results made me just be like, okay. And I loved the spirit, mind, body approach to this. So then, I got the kit and I got my partner on board to do it with me. And I don't know if that's good or bad to do when you're both going through all the emotions, but had the most profound experience. Yeah. I thought I had worked through my emotions and traumas, and they really came up to the surface through this. And to be able to witness them, have that awareness, and to release them, it's just the most divinely crafted, beautiful cleanse.
Right.
So
and you've
powerful.
done so much self-awareness work constantly.
I thought I had.
But then, right, that's
You
where I was
have,
at too.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm good. And then you go to the detox and you're like, oh, there's another layer.
Yeah.
And it's a physical one, and it's a worm.
It's a worm. And
It's attached to the emotional.
Right. Yes.
the wild, I had no idea the universe that we had inside of us.
Right.
Like
Right.
no idea.
The
It's just, you
internal.
don't know until you can see what is happening.
Yeah.
And then, and it's not about weight, but I will tell you, I had so much inflammation going on when I came in. So I know my genes, I have really dirty detox genes. And I thought I was doing the things. It's the toxic overload in our environment. There's just no way we can do it without without
Right.
this.
Have to have
A
maintenance.
conscious
Yeah.
effort.
And
Yes.
so for me, I think it was almost 15 pounds of toxic sludge
Wow.
released.
Good work. That's a letting go.
Letting go.
The body
And
was ready.
completely different. Like you can see what I look like
Yes.
before to now. Just
Yeah.
I love
transformative.
all the before and after pictures when you do a picture every day on the 10-day. And
Yeah, you can see
It's
just
incredible.
the entire body. The face
Yes.
lights up.
yeah.
So then Erin was my friend, and I texted her and I said, what do you need? Do you need me to put boxes together in my house? Like,
we
I didn't
did.
know what her dreams were. I was just like, come on, what are we doing here? I just knew everyone had to know about
super
it.
desperate
Fun time.
for that. I was like, Trish, yes, please. Come help
Like, I need
me.
people in the space.
Yeah. And then we
it's
expanded.
just been beautiful. I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Well,
so
and the,
grateful
yeah,
for
and the
you.
information that you have and you bring to the space, and the clients that you've worked with, I'm excited to talk about that later. But it's been incredible to play witness to the expansion that you bring into the awareness of healing for people, and especially through what you've gone through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
So it's so
thank you.
good. Yeah. And you've done so much work in understanding the body, like an epigenetic specialist, making sure all of the metabolic things in our bodies are functioning right.
Yeah.
So good work. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Crystal.
So I have some similarities to Trish. Probably about the same time last February, I think I saw an influencer do the cleanse.
Yeah.
And I had already been working for a couple of years, maybe a year and a half, on opening my detox pathways and trying to rid my body of the inflammation, because I was doing all the right things, like working out, eating well, trying to manage my stress and drinking all my water. And I wasn't seeing progress. And again, it wasn't necessarily about the weight, but I just knew that things could be better.
Yeah.
And then my energy completely tanked, where I'd be standing. I stood all day at work, and midday, it felt like I was going to drop. So I knew something needed to change, and I started doing red light therapy, saunas. I did a couple parasite cleanses as well. And then when I saw the influencer post, Jalen, I just wanted to jump on it. And then the company was just expanding so quickly and so wonderfully. So my first cleanse, I think, was February.
I remember you coming over to the house.
The next month, I came to pick up my kit again.
You scheduling
and I was like, I would like to work for you guys.
It was so cute.
And I
you came in to pick
colonic.
up your kit, and I was like, hi, we
when
just
can I
started
start?
talking. And it was so perfect.
It was lovely. I loved the space. I loved the vision. And your growth has just been remarkable to witness.
Was your first colonic with Ash?
So I did one. It might have been my first cleanse. I did day 7.
How was that?
Day 6. It was great.
It was so good.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm kind of like you. I had never done an enema, and I was a little skeptic, but also like I'm fascinated with the human body. So it's totally comfortable. Being a mom kind of makes you not so shy. And so, I think it was okay. My first experience, I think my expectations, I think they were probably should have watched a video before I went in. It's all I have to say. But otherwise, I wasn't uncomfortable. And it was easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then it's just so much, we're so blessed to have.
Do you feel your energy levels came back?
I would say I've done the cleanse a few times. And so each cleanse, each 10-day detox I have partaken in, something different has happened for me. So initially it was really about the physical. It was about, let's get rid of all the gunk.
Yeah.
Let's change our diet a little bit, even fine tune it even better with genetics.
Yeah.
And then see what happens. And then I think second or third time, it was really where I wanted to hone in on emotional and start to really, instead of avoid my feelings, feel them.
Yeah.
And recognize
process them.
And for a Gemini, that's huge. Okay, these two are both Geminis.
So apparently we're non-emotional people.
Yes.
But we do have emotions. I think it's just a matter of
processing
and
shedding the layers
and being vulnerable.
And
that's one thing about the cleanse that really will get to you, and that's a good thing, and it's okay, and it's so important.
And then being able to feel trusted in that vulnerable space to expand, right? Yep. And did you do epigenetic testing with Trish?
I did. So
what came back?
We worked together, and I do have similar, like she said, dirty genes, where my body just has a difficult time detoxing. I had to eliminate certain things in my diet, and since I've done that, I've seen a major change.
For a while, you can do apple.
I had some allergies, some weird allergies. Apple,
can you do apple now?
Orange.
You can do orange now. Look, she's drinking OJ now. Yes, we're doing fresh OJ. This is organic fresh OJ, squeezed earlier today.
I'll have some things to Erin, but that's just something I wanted to touch on, is just how beautiful this right here and the taking off and having all of you beautiful people around us that have done the cleanse, and it has transformed you or been profound to you in one way or another. And you've been like, how can I do this? How can I give this to someone else? How can I help? How can I be a part of this? And that's all of our light workers and our team, Trish and Crystal here and more at the warehouse. But it's just been such a beautiful journey. And having all of you guys believe in what we're doing and wanting to be a part of it. There's just so much power in all of it. And we love you and appreciate you. And that's just what makes you such beautiful light workers, is experiencing it for yourself and knowing how much it impacted your life and wanting to help others and impact others as well.
Thank you. That's why we're here.
I know, it's so great. I love it. And Crystal's now our plaza manager.
Yay!
So she's getting all of the systems in place for all of you to come in and to cleanse and detox. And
currently we do have limited availability for booking. So if anyone's local, you can go to our website and find someone to book a service with.
Yes, but our plaza is just about open. We're so excited to be able to have so many more people come.
We have 3 colon hydrotherapy
do the cleanse.
beds.
Yes.
Instead of just the one. So you're going to be able to work. We're all going to be able to work one-on-one so much more. And Trish has been the one that's been really working one-on-one with those for the past year in the space. What has been your experience with the one-on-ones? And tell us a little.
I love when the one-on-ones come, the advanced cleanses, they come. There's people that come from all over the country. And I think that's amazing and so brave and courageous to just hop on a plane and I'm going to go by myself to a totally different country and
clean out
go
my
through
colon.
this, and more than that, clean out. I mean, they're there for transformation.
Yes,
let's be real, the ones that are really coming, and the support. And I love to be nurturing and a support and a guide, and to meet people where they're at. Really, for people to start seeing themselves and remembering who they are, because that's what I think when they start shedding all this dark stuff, like more light can come in. So I'm going to get emotional.
Yes, please get emotional. It's
That's
deep.
I'm a Gemini.
And this is the important part we
about
teach
this.
is when the emotion arises, we process it and we let it come through, because our biggest ways to release in our lymph are our eyes and our armpits, right?
Yeah.
So, and all the work you've done and the buildup, it's in there. And look at the pouring out of your heart space as you talk about it.
It's yummy. Yeah. So I'm grateful to just be a part of that.
Yeah.
That's just a gift. It's a gift to just be a part of it.
Absolutely. What would you say is the most profound experience that you've had this year working with one-on-one?
I had a client that was was just flowing through the cleanse, She was just doing amazing through it. Nothing was really coming up for her. And it was just like, she seemed like it was just,
It's fine and good.
yeah, it was all fine and good. But then we got to day 9, sex and reproductive organs. And she was on the bed, and then she was just struggling. She thought she was having a seizure. She was.
Did she get seizures often?
She used to get seizures all the time, but this one she stayed conscious for.
Okay.
Right? So she was Trish. I'm shaking. So I went in the room, and she was full body somatic releasing. So she was, but she didn't know. It looked like a seizure.
Yeah.
It was scary.
Yeah.
And
were you holding her hand at this point? Are you
at this
talking
point?
her
Sorry, I'm like all
through?
going back into it now.
Yeah, I can feel it.
She was able, luckily, to just communicate through me and to me and tell me that she knew what it was, and it was old and it was coming up. And she started sharing some of her sexual abuse that had happened to her as a kid, but she was back as a child, right?
Okay, so as a child, she was sexually abused.
And it just came to the point that I just had to get up on the table with her. So I just got up on the table with her and I held her.
You held her. Is
I
she
just held her.
crying at this point?
We were
Just
both.
bawling.
We're just feeling it and just being able
Processing.
to hold that space and remind her that she's safe. And that little child, just do some inner child work, really. Get her back in her body.
Yeah.
And then what shocked me more than anything is to lift up the colonic bed and to see the biggest, longest tapeworm, probably 20, 30 years that had been in her, holding on to that trauma. So when we talk about stuff being stored in the body and that parasites hold on to stuff, to me, that was like just coming face to face with that.
Yes.
It's
Just a testimony of how much parasites hold on to
She went right into her
emotion.
fear. You helped
fear.
her. And then the papa worms, the ones that are reproducing are gone now.
Yeah.
And lifelong since she was a child.
Yes.
And what would you say this long, right?
It's on our Instagram
it's on our
somewhere.
Instagram.
It's huge and thick and just,
And having that full body experience as she released it. A lot of us on the cleanse, we feel a lot of things. And we're like, what is this? My back aches, my hips ache, across the trapped emotions that we get to feel and we have to feel.
Last colonic I cried twice
happen.
and I wasn't even going through anything just other than my daily motion.
Yeah,
let
parasite die-off
alone-
is emotional.
Right.
it
And
is.
so when we're doing the emotional work alongside the physical, that is when we see the best results, the
Absolutely.
biggest worms, the biggest parasites. So it's so important.
And the biggest
it's so
transformation
profound.
is what happens for me when I release those big releases is my consciousness, my brain, everything in my body, the systems start to compute better and I become more myself. I'm stronger in my workouts. I'm stronger in my thinking. I'm more
and you just
present.
generally feel better.
And you feel good. Exactly. And that's one thing I don't think people realize. Like,
is how horrible they feel.
How horrible
you get used to feeling
when you
so
detox,
bad.
you feel like as light as a feather. You're floating on air, and like, oh, my body's meant to feel good. It's not meant to hurt all the time. It's not meant to ache all the time. It's not meant to even, I don't know, gurgle all the time. Like, it's meant to be at peace and homeostasis and feel safe and trusted.
We just become so accustomed to feeling tired and fatigued, and we just think, oh, this is just age.
Push through it.
This is just how we feel, and we accept it. And you're like, no, we're not meant to feel this way.
Yeah,
and it can be so.
It's the norm. And then you get a new norm and you're like, what? How do I? And then they're like, how do I stay like this?
Right.
I have it's a practice.
It's a practice. I think a lot of people are like, I did the 10 days and I'm good now. And it's like, no, like it just started. The work just began.
Especially if you just did round one because you just shed, the physical part of all of the things you already thought you had processed mentally. Now it's really physically gone. And now the cycles and patterns are coming back around. Can you evolve from them? Are you going to retract and go back into the condition?
Right.
How will you transform from this? And so the work's always there. How are you maintaining?
Yep.
What would you say is the biggest ways that you guys do self-care, self-practice to help your body stay feeling good during the times you're not detoxing, and keeping that awareness there?
Yeah. For me, I do what I call my elements, right? I do my 7 elements.
Yes.
So I'm going to call it a checklist. We call it like a to-be list, but I check in with my spiritual, my mental, my emotional, my physical, my relational, my nutritional.
Right.
I check in with my elements. And so like that might mean something different every day, but it's usually I like to ground every day. I like to watch the sunrise. I like to find my breath. I like to journal. Gratitude is really important practice for me. It keeps me where I want to be. I love and have to get movement in daily. My water, I'm all about the water, trying to get more in all the time.
And I love that these practices make you really have to slow down, right?
Yes.
And think and turn off the noise around you and really just go within.
Yeah. That time is so important every day to just have with yourself. And I didn't realize how much I wasn't taking the time, but nobody does.
No, we live in a very busy world.
In the world we're conditioned to, it's a tricky one to try to play the game of self and self-care, knowing that does have to be one. If you're going to thrive and help everyone around you thrive, you have to figure you out first. But it does take a level of awareness in order to continue to maintain all of the things and that one.
And awareness and time and effort. And it's like our society kind of tells us go, go, go. And we buy into that. And I did for decades. And that's why my body shut down.
Me and Ashley just had this talk the other day. I'm like, Ash, do you feel inside that you're racing all the time? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
I've had to really learn to turn that off.
I've always felt inside my body there's like this race and I got to win and I got to keep up. And it's like, go, 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 go. And it's not until the last 5-10 years I've really tried to recognize and turn that off. And I'm like, let it unfold. How about you, Crystal? What's the
I love my morning routine. It's harder in the winter because it's dark and cold, but I love
What's
sunrise.
your morning routine?
If I had it my way every morning, I would hike and see the sunrise.
Beautiful.
And have a cup of tea. And I have a rebounder. I'm really big on lymph drainage. I've been doing massage, a little bit of dry brushing.
Good.
And if I had it my way, all the time, I'd be able to do that. But we don't necessarily have time. I'm a mom. So I have to kind of shorten things up and break them out throughout the day and sometimes throughout the week. So that may look like rebounding or sauna but the walking has been pivotal for me, just getting out there. And that's helpful for me to process things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll have music because I need the motivation, but sometimes it'll be just me listening to my thoughts and being intentional about, really tuning into what my body is asking and what and then goals, even just my life goals, in different areas of my life. Like you said, your 7 elements, my family, my work, my my health. And so just focusing on that, getting good sleep, which is so difficult,
Yeah.
but it makes a big difference for me. And just all those little things that you can do that take time to develop the discipline to do, just because we can just easily brush them off and get busy.
Yeah.
But even one thing a day,
Yeah.
it's great.
What about, I know everyone's going to know what about you? What is your?
Oh my goodness. I have a very strict practice. I spend 3 hours in my morning working out vigorously, sweating everything that I can out, and also building my muscle. And in the practice, though, while I work out, I try to really consciously piece out my day, who I'm going to be meeting with, what I'm going to be connecting with. And then while I'm working out, I can feel deeply in those channels, what needs more breath, what I can kind of think about, talk about, know about. And I really find it helps me build and expand while I'm working out and trying to create in my mind and have a meditation and practice going. And whether I'm working out a relationship communication in my mind while I'm working out my body, but having the emotions run through while I'm working out brings a level of awareness to me and my body and helps me let go. So, I do
That's beautiful.
I'll do
it's like a visualization of almost of what's going to
And I know me and Ashley work so much together, and we're best friend sisters. We always have. And so there's always a lot of processes I go through my workout with her and what that will be like and how she's feeling, what I need to nourish and nurture there. And then with everyone around me in my life, it's like, what needs nourishment? What needs nurture? What am I not looking at? And how's the business doing? How are all my people doing? How's my relationship? So my workout's huge for me. And that's why I know everyone that works at the sanctuary knows this, but it's a huge part of the meditation for the day. And then I make sure that I eat and drink fruit, because that's for me and my body. I'm so sensitive. And so it brings me a level of awareness when I eat anything other than that, kind of what pressures are in my body and what's feeding and what's not. So I try to have a strict food practice as well. But 3-hour morning routine with my meditation. Then I'm at work with you guys, and I'm trying to one-on-one always consciously, do the client work. And I think being in the healing space automatically brings that level of, it's like, okay, I created the detox space so that I could always just be in it, because I always realize I need it. I'm the type of person that, is constantly processing emotions all the time. And that's why I made it my business. And so I love being able to be in the space that's, always has the 4-3-2 hertz going. And we walk in and there's just healing happening all around. And somebody needs to process this or cry about this or talk about this. We can. And we're there. And
you've created that. We love it. Our warehouse is amazing.
So
we're a family.
The business is the practice.
We can be vulnerable together. We are, there to heal. We're all there for a similar goal, and we want to help others.
Yes. And I try to do a few colonics a week if I'm not on the 10-day, the Spectre bed, and Ash, what about you, girl? Tell us about your practice. You have Ash is super mom. She works full time. She works more than full time.
This is an area that's really hard for me.
Self-care, right? Yes. Let's get vulnerable. Let's talk about it.
But this is why I wanted to help create this space, is for selfishly me and my family. But it's a practice, and it's something that drove me to my first round of sickness, that made me find the cleanse and this healing. And it's just something that you'll forever continue to get to practice, especially when you're a mom and you're giving, and the demands and the lists, there's so much, but just the little things, right? And being able to check in with yourself and be like, okay, what have I not done this week? Why do I feel this way? And it's the exercising, it's the journaling, it's, really going within and taking things off the plates, and
you do that. We see you do that actively throughout the day, and it's amazing and a good reminder to us, because we have to remind ourselves.
Yeah.
Ashley's the one doing everything that everyone else can't do. Like Ashley's answering the emails that we can't get to. Ashley's making all the artwork for all the products. Ashley's, making sure all the girls feel good. Ashley's ordering everything. Ashley's maintaining. Ashley's always go. And then on top of that, she's got her kids are always like, Mom, I need this. Mom, I need that.
Oh, sorry,
and she's driving them here. She's driving there. Yeah. Even during this, she got a phone call from one of her kids. She's, Ashley is a superhuman. She's an Aquarius. And
so I'm way too hard on myself. But
and self-care, she gets to
I'm learning
have more of that.
I get to be a little more selfish and designate time for myself for those things, but which is why I love the space that we've created and everyone, because we're all just reminders of how important that is and how much that matters. So, but the cleanse has been huge. Yeah. Huge for me. And learning when I get to take things off of my plate and when I'm not thriving and learning to slow down. And those aren't signs of weaknesses, but just like, okay, I get
as
to
your
listen
thyroid
to my
starts
body.
to choke up a bit, right? Yeah.
I
mine's
get
a
to
little
listen to my body. And not ignore it until I'm completely reached burnout. And
we don't have to reach burnout anymore. We don't have to ever get to burnout anymore. We can keep refilling, regenerating ourselves as we go and conducting. And you're doing so good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing so good. What kind of let's see, when we bioscanned you and we did your first parasite cleanse, what did you have? You had going on a lot of do you have ectoparasites?
The first time I cleansed? The first time I cleansed, I was trying to figure out my Epstein-Barr and why I was so tired. And it was right after COVID. Okay. And I just had a baby. It was just really a hard time in life in general, with work, with marriage, just where I was at. And I was not thriving. And I was not feeling good, and I was trying to find out why. So going to all the doctors, right, doing all of the things, and then asking Erin for help. She started meal planning for me, prepping for me. I went off all of the gluten. I went vegan. Just trying anything, which that was, helpful. It worked, and I was starting to see like, okay. And then it was really the 10-day cleanse and learning just getting to know my body and learning how it works and the processes and where I was storing emotion that I didn't even realize that emotion was living in our body. And I was holding on to
what do you feel like your biggest fear was?
Bitterness and resentment.
What do you feel like that was?
Like at the first of the cleanse?
Or even now? Like what do you feel like you were
I mean, my
constantly
biggest fear
go?
is like, I don't want to die from a sickness.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I
from getting sick.
Like I'm sick. Like something's wrong with me. I kept saying something's wrong with me. I got to find out what's wrong with me.
You feel like death.
Then going to all the doctors and then being like, you're fine. I'm like, I'm not fine. Like, what's wrong with me? But the most profound thing for me with the cleanse is learning the emotion behind all of it and realizing I was making myself sick. Yeah. Because I was going through real life hard things and I was choosing to just hold on to them and make them mine. And this is so hard.
Do you feel like you were angry about it? What was the emotion you feel that you were holding at the core? Grief?
Oh, I had a forgiveness.
Maybe? Yeah. Resentment,
I had to forgive.
Forgiveness. Yeah. Okay.
I had to forgive people around me and myself. So just realizing how much emotions really can impact our physical health and realizing those are not worth feeling those and holding on to that feeling is not worth making my body this way and really having that release and that let go of forgiveness.
Do you still have your Epstein-Barr?
Not. I mean, there's markers for it, but it's dormant. And I feel amazing. That was the first time I'm like, I didn't know I was supposed to feel this good. Yeah. What? I thought this was for kids. Yeah. But just realizing, learning the most about myself and how I operate and how sensitive I am and how easily I absorb things around me. And just having that shift of like, this can be a beautiful thing when I learn how to utilize it and take the time to process the things I'm feeling, ask myself what I'm feeling. Is this mine? And what's going on around me? And just knowing my boundaries, right, with people, different energies and how easily I'm affected by those energies and how to lovingly,
Say no thanks.
No, thank you.
Not for me, but I love
because
you
I want to make
anyway.
everyone around me happy at all
Yeah.
the time, and just
Right. The giver.
learning the power and all of that really was what
The giver
what my
becoming the
transformation
receiver
was.
and balancing out both.
Yeah,
Good job.
finding that balance and forgiveness ultimately, right? I think we all
Yeah. Forgiveness is a big one, and love, that's what's going to heal our bodies, is bringing in
Right.
love. We're all love, and
right.
connecting to that level of consciousness, God, love, creation, and let it come in and forgive the things that people are unconscious to. And you know your boundaries.
Right.
We can step away from, but trauma is real though. And speaking of trauma, and when someone's in it and they're like, I cannot forgive that, you get that a lot, where they say, no, I will not. Right. And that's okay. But at some level, at the work and the 10-day during, always forgiveness ends up happening.
You realize it's not
Always.
worth it anymore.
It's not worth it. You hang on.
I can't keep
It's
holding on to this.
painful
It's killing
inside
me.
your body.
That's what was
It's
killing
disease
me.
inside your body.
That's what I was dying from, was holding so tightly onto all this anger and resentment and bitterness.
Yeah.
Keep returning people to that forgiveness exercise you guys have. A lot of people don't know that's in the PDF.
Yes.
And that's like the number one thing.
So profound.
Like if I could get anybody to do anything from the cleanse, would be just take the time and do that exercise.
Yeah.
Right.
Over and over again.
You will release so much deeper physically too.
Yes. And that doesn't mean we're not imperfect or we're not perfect. And we've this is still things I work on,
Yes.
things come up, but I have the tools
day.
now, right? And I know my body, and I get to go through them and process them differently and let them go with love and feel what I need to feel, but let it go with love.
That I've noticed is a lot of times on the 10-day, and I can speak a little bit directly to you as the audience who've done the 10-day, and maybe you guys have seen this too, is, people are, hey, I don't know why I'm still feeling this way. I don't know why I'm depressed still. I'm on the 10-day and I'm not moving my bowels and things aren't happening. Are you doing the forgiveness work? Are you doing the love work for yourself? Are you able to go inward and do the mantras and really emotionally process? And it's usually when we bring awareness to that people are like, oh, okay. And then it shifts and things start to really happen. Yes. So it's a huge part of it. What would you say is the number one most, you guys answer the messages the most. Yeah. What are the things you see the most, the questions and the experiences?
Yeah, most of it, honestly, we get hundreds and hundreds of messages, and most of them are beautiful stories, transformation stories, gratitude. I wish you guys could see them all. I need to start copying and pasting. I'd be texting her all day.
I love that, yes.
But they're beautiful. And then so many pictures of worms.
So many
and all the things, which we love too. Everybody wants on it. What is this? What is this? What is this? And it's like, we can't get very specific because there's 5,000 species of a tapeworm.
I mean, talking a little bit to that. Everyone wants to know, what is this? And it's hard to identify specifically.
Especially through
From
pictures. And when we can't kind of go through it. But, I always like to say it's not necessarily about what type of parasite it is. It's the fact that you released it and you got it out.
It's gone.
And it's gone. That is what we
can
should
muscle test all day,
yes.
but we can just know, okay, this is probably a tapeworm, a type, part of the family, and what kind, or
and
a helmet,
it was
an
probably tied
asterisk.
to like an addiction or a fear, an emotion, and you just release that. And so
one of my favorite things on the bed is when I do have a good release, I recognize where it came from in my body, and I can feel that tension, and then that just helps me process things later on, like go deeper or think harder, or just try harder with certain people in my life or certain situations that I need to work on.
Have you guys ever been on the 10-day during your period, during your bleed?
This last time.
Okay, isn't it wild?
It's interesting.
Did you get parasites?
I know I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a parasite in my urine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I had my
Had that
cervix.
happen?
Mine was my
I was
cervix.
like, that was interesting.
You're like, oh, hey.
Yeah, you're like, there wasn't any toilet paper.
Did you? Hey, what is this little tissue here?
So that's just amazing. I love that our bodies can almost dual detox. And, and we have all those different things in our PDF that help people. So when you're talking about like having a difficult time releasing, having like not being able, even if you do 2 enemas a day, or like, depends on the person and depends emotionally.
Everyone's so different.
Everyone's so
but there are
so
things
unique.
and that, what is it? How many pages is our PDF now?
Oh man,
60.
So much
there's a
knowledge
lot,
and
and there's going to be
information.
more
Yes.
soon.
It's
There's
a
a
wealth
constant
of
working
knowledge.
process.
Yeah.
So
but,
much good stuff.
I want to make it into a book so you guys can have option to purchase it as a book on the website.
Yes.
Good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. And there's so many different tools in there. And if you just read it or ask us a question, we'll answer your questions.
Yes.
It's
It could be
usually
helpful.
The answer is in there, but one of the questions we get asked a lot is, can I do the 10-day cleanse while I'm on my period? Or, I just started the 10-day cleanse and my period had decided to come. Is that okay? And I'm always like, absolutely, yes.
Extra good.
Extra good.
Extra detox
And
pathways.
parasites
Women
love blood. They love to feed off of it. You're already cleansing and detoxing. And usually that's what happens when you are on the 10-day cleanse is you do happen to start your period and you weren't supposed to. You're like, what's going on?
Right.
It's 'cause your period wants in, your cervix wants in on the action. So yeah, it's a good time to detox. Yes, yes, yes.
And I don't think people realize how many blood parasites are, how much parasites do affect your blood.
Yes.
And we were talking about this the other day on a live blood analysis, how parasites will even try to hide. They're so smart, you know,
In
they
their
know they're even being
plasma.
watched. And it's so incredible to try to.
They're intelligent.
And they're part of you, and they're hacking your neural pathways. They're eating you alive. They're eating your nutrients that you're feeding, trying to feed your body. So
Yeah.
it's really good stuff.
I think just our ingredients and what we have in our products and like that, when we were talking about what I think about when I think about the cleanse is just how it's set up. Even so, that's one of the reasons I chose to do your cleanse, your detox, because of the nutrition behind it.
Yes.
So I would do a cleanse that you could just eat normal, maybe eliminate sugar or meat.
Yeah.
But I needed to reset my body, and I think that our cleanse with the organic fruit, and then the quality of our binder and our tinctures, it's just like no other.
So quality,
so
such
good.
high quality, so good. And I think that that is what sets ours apart so much, is that, and then the diet change. And nobody's really wanting to face and talk about the diet change. You know, certain doctors and specialists and things, because their parasites still really want those as well. And I understand. It's hard to give up certain foods. It's really hard. But I think it's imperative to change what you're feeding the bacteria and parasites while you're doing it, or you just keep refeeding.
And then you chose. Well, you are a fruitarian, so your lifestyle is always
raw,
fruits.
vegan, organic, fruit, and some vegetables. So it's really it's regenerative. It's clean. It's light, and can really remineralize and hydrate the body through those foods. Because really, you try to hydrate the body, you can't do that with water. It's inorganic minerals. You hydrate the body through foods, and you can find all the organic minerals you need to do that within fruit, and really hydrate your body with fruit. So during the detox, it creates so much hydration, so much remineralization of the body, and you're not eating any cooked foods, which is huge, unless you do the soups, but you can blend the soups and the Vitamix and not quite bring them to a cooking point. That's what I do. But if you're not, cooking your food, then you're really being able to hydrate your body and absorb all the compounds of the actual foods that are growing out of the ground. So it's good. Yeah.
It's changed my way of eating. And I know that is also a factor of having less parasites, because they totally wire us
off of it.
for all
the biggest ones are found in fish, and pork and meats and dairies.
You
So
eliminate all those cravings, and then every 10 days our taste buds become new. So that's the biggest. One of my favorite parts of the 10-day cleanse is having a completely new palate when you're done, and only really wanting to fuel your body and nourish your body with the things that sound good, because you've cleared your palate. You've eliminated those cravings. And so really after, you're just really wanting to fuel your body and nourish your body, because you feel so amazing.
Did you guys ever get like super binge energy right after the 10-day for anything crazy? Like you're like, I just had to go binge a bag of chips because you hadn't had it for 10 days.
My first cleanse, I did the worst thing that I would never recommend to anybody.
Tell us.
I was just, the tomato soup, I loved it, but the whole time I just wanted a grilled cheese with sourdough. I wanted I wanted
Gaia's
Gaia's grilled cheese.
Yeah.
but it was really the chow that I wanted, right? So got my own sourdough and grilled and made one, and just, your colon is a muscle. I know that, and it's been sleeping, and I just decided to put a nice, beautiful gut bomb in there, and that's fun.
Did you learn a little?
You learn every time you choose against something.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
how
how
I
I
learned.
We got to ease back into the foods.
Yeah, that's part of the process, right? It's really beautiful and gradual. But sometimes, like, my wiring has always been, I wouldn't say necessarily addictive.
Yeah.
But like because I feel like I'm in control for the most part. But like I do, I can operate sometimes in like an extreme state. So if it's like, oh, I need this now. And like I said, the cleanse, that's been a big part of my diet, is it's really helped me curb that. And also just with my knowledge of the way my body works, I just know the consequences of doing something that might not work so well for it. And just at this point, the process has been amazing that I've been able to say, I'm okay. I don't need that. Right. I don't need to go to a function and have
the work that it takes to get it all out.
Exactly.
And then for the little
set
piece
me back.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can we just
for the moment. No.
Because it is a mental thing. The cleanse is 10 days. And it's hard mentally for people sometimes to stick to the regimen. Yeah. But we see success all the time. People are so amazing and resilient and they see the progress and they continue.
Right. The biggest success.
Attachments to things like coffee. Yes. Caffeine is the biggest, one of the biggest messages I get. What about the coffee? What about my coffee?
Yeah.
And honestly, the reason why is, the liver has to work hard to process caffeine.
Yep.
It also destroys microbes in the gut.
There's
it's
so much mold in
acidic.
caffeine.
There's just so many reasons why. It's dehydrating. We're trying to hydrate.
Right.
So it's just titrate off. You can titrate off.
What's so cute is this, my girlfriends, who I will work out with, they all did it together, and they were like, I can't believe we can't have caffeine. They were like, oh, like day 1 and day 2 were in the workout with them, and they're just like, oh, no caffeine. Well, by day 10, they were hopping off the walls. They were like, I've never had this much energy in my life, not missing their caffeine, and they don't want to go back to it.
Yes.
They realize like, okay, no, actually.
Because when you're fueling your body with the things it actually really needs, it's going to give you the energy that
your organs can actually convert energy.
You're not digesting your food all day, so all your energy is spent, digesting all of the things we're constantly putting into it. So.
Yeah.
Most of the detox symptoms are withdrawal from people coming off caffeine, processed food, sugar.
Right.
It's
Sugar.
always those first few days. My head, what can I do for my headache?
Body aches, leg aches, sugar withdrawal.
Yeah.
I know. It's so wild.
It's not
Our sister
cleanse,
goes through it
detoxing.
bad every time. She gets shakes and aches. She's like in bed. She has to take work off.
Yep.
Like me, I thrive. I'm like, oh my gosh, whenever I'm on a detox, I have more energy than ever. Everyone's so different at where they're at.
It's their experiences. And
Yeah. So it's really good.
Do I have time to talk about mucoid plaque?
Let's talk about all
let's get
the
dirty.
plaque.
The ropeworms and everything, the heavy metals that stick to the intestinal
do some
walls.
pretty dirty work over here, but it's the best work.
Those are a lot of messages we get, is people wondering, is this really a worm? What is in this? This isn't true. This is my stomach lining.
Right.
We're constantly shedding, by the way.
We're constantly shedding. Yeah, I think you shed, is it every 30 days your stomach lining sheds? There's a number. I need to look it up. But
I think it's like 10,
is it even
10
sooner
to 15.
than that?
I think it's sooner than
15.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can chat GPT.
We can chat GPT. I don't remember. But no, this stuff is
it's mucoided plaque
for years.
Yeah, and
It's built up.
It's petrified fecal matter your entire life, compounded waste that's been built up and built up and built up, and it's heavy metals, it's toxins, it's chemicals, it's food that's been lodged and stuck that your body can't digest because we don't have plastics. Talk about the insane amount of plastics that are inside of the, the housings, and then on top of that, so what happens is, these heavy metal housings, these plaque, they're so heavy, the body can't digest it, so they stick. So what happens is they stick, and the parasites are like, oh, hey, a nice, good foundation for a home, right? So then they can go in there with the heavy metals, they can start laying their eggs, they can create a foundation in there, and it's so wild to pull out a huge plaque house, and it's right. You can get it as big as, I don't know, like a football sometimes. And then you can kind of start pulling it apart and you see the huge worms that are inside of it. And, they're about like, I don't know, anywhere from like
Heavy.
1 to
Heavy.
5 pounds sometimes.
Yes.
And so I think it depends on the person's environment externally. And then that starts creating the internal and compounds and compounds and compounds. And then that's what keeps someone stuck in certain cycles, because it's stuck in their colon, and this colon is attached to every single, pathway you have, and how many neurons directly connected to your brain in your colon, I think is 90 neurons. And so we have so much of our thought processes that are also stuck, along with the mucoidal plaque houses that are stuck, and the intestines are so long. We have so much of it, right? And so it just compounds, and then we're able to pull it out with the binder. The binder acts as a vacuum, right? So you get the charcoal in there and all of the things that create it to bind, and it sucks and pulls everything into one place and then pushes it all out. So you get out, it's almost like an entire lining of your colon in some points, in some parts, because of how much it pushes.
You aren't physically sometimes seeing parasites doesn't mean they're not in there. There's so many parasites that aren't even visible to the naked eye.
Most parasites
Chemicals,
are
most
not
parasites and toxins.
visible. There's only about 120 types that are visible to the, right?
A human eats about 33 tons of food in their lifetime. And now ask that human, how often do you go to the restroom? How often do you go to the bathroom? So many people are
We had a client
up.
in the plaza yesterday who goes maybe once a week, and she said it's just little pellets, right? And she has stage 4 colon cancer now because of it. And so we get to really learn.
Mucoidal plaque, that's another, how that builds up. How often are you going to the bathroom? How often are you eliminating? Where's that going? If it's not coming out, it's just in you. And that's where that buildup happens.
Yeah.
In my case, I'm just thinking of how much mucoidal plaque I lost. And I've always had the opposite, where I've gone too much to the bathroom. But that is also a sign of blockage.
Right.
Yeah.
And I had my first lower GI to find out what was wrong with my gut was when I was 18 years old, having to send in stool samples, everything. I've always
been trying to figure it out
issues
for a while.
And I know, I look back at my childhood and we didn't know what we didn't know. But my breakfast was Captain Crunch. I had TV dinners. It was SpaghettiOs. It was mac and cheese and top ramen.
That's how we all grew up. That's what we all grew
lived
up
on that. And that has just been causing toxicity, and then compound it with the environment now.
Yes.
You can make all the good choices, but if you don't get that out,
it's just in there.
And then we'll keep compounding, and it will shut the whole body down, right?
That was our 15 extra pounds.
You got disease in every way.
No,
When the
it's
colon
literally
shuts
15
down,
pounds of plaque
nothing can move through.
and inflammation.
Nothing can breathe. I know they say the colon can hold up to 20 to 25 pounds of just plaque at one time.
Yeah.
And
Elvis
you released
died
15.
with how much in him, they say? Do you remember? Have you ever heard of Elvis Presley died with
That is like why he died.
It's like an insane amount.
It was
right?
like, I want to say it was like 30 pounds or something, but we'll have to chat GTP that too.
And that's something we also want to talk about, is how, cleaning the colon has been around for thousands of years.
Yeah,
and that is how they used to help get someone better. You always start with the colon.
And in other
Once you
countries,
can
they
clean
generally
out
do.
the colon, then your body can start resetting and working the way that it's meant to, because that is your biggest drainage pathway. Everyone's always like, open drainage pathways, open drainage pathways. I'm nervous about your cleanse. That's what you're doing the entire 10 days is you're opening up your biggest drainage pathway. You're supporting your kidneys with our kidney tea.
You have the diet to help remineralize.
You're on the diet, and that's why there's so much success, is because that's the first place we should be cleaning when we aren't feeling well.
Yeah.
And
cleaning it. Let's talk
Cleaning.
about
There's just
the
making
colonic,
enemas.
right? Enemas, and making sure that the water that you are, absorbing up into your colon is pure, is hydrating, and you're able to clean it out. We clean out the systems of our body, and I think the colon is a major one.
beautiful things happen when you just simply can clean out your colon.
I like to imagine my colon just like this beaming light.
All the time. Every time I'm on the colonic bed, I'm like, my colon is holy and light. All the dark is leaving.
Start doing that.
Being visual. Anytime someone comes in for a colonic, I'm always like, you have to be visual. You know, I'm a visual person. And so really being able to
For sure.
have those visualizations can be powerful and so helpful, at least for me.
Working one-on-one with people, every time, you know, we get to the heart space, what color you see in your mind's eye? Green. You know, we get to the brain, what color you see in your mind's eye? Purple. What, you know, throat, blue. Okay, we go to the liver, what color you see? Most people see green in their liver, gallbladder. We go through all the organs. Everyone sees color, right? What color you see in your colon? Brown. Black.
We've been conditioned too
Right.
a little
Yeah.
bit to
And we
always
want it to
just
be-
So
we don't
we want it
want
to be
it.
rainbows, light and color, all the
Yes,
rainbows that look like
absolutely.
it's full of light. But generally the digestion sits in the color yellow, but the colon right here also is like orange. So yeah, it's but I like to bring in all the light and color
More
and
clear
Right.
out the
Yeah.
colon.
just bring in light. And then
Yeah.
once we do clean it out and we go back, okay, what color you see now? Oh, okay. I see all the colors. This
And it
was
makes
good.
sense too. They tell us that, you know, by sunbathing, by red light, we can regenerate in our microbiome, and so it makes sense if we need light
Right.
to heal.
And absorbing light, eating light, visualizing light,
Surrounding
the
yourself
light.
with people who
Right.
bring light.
and knowing that the light only is seen because of the dark. So,
True.
shoo, shoo, shoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring in that. What do you feel like is another huge question that people get, Trish?
How often can I do this? What does maintenance look like? Yeah, probably that one.
That's such a good question. And I think too, everyone is so different. So I think that depends on where you're at. And if you're feeling, a lot of people are like, I want to keep going, then we recommend if you feel like you need to keep going, keep going. But our biggest thing is listen to your body.
This
What-
is your cleanse.
This is your cleanse.
This is so you can bring your power back in and get to know yourself and trust your body and the ability you have to keep going.
And I recommend I live a detox lifestyle. I'm eating the fruit all day. I'll do a colonic regularly. I take binder every night. I do my parasite tincture when I'm actually on the 10-day, but I'll do it in between here and there. I took it the other day along with some moringa and liver and gall. I didn't take it today, but you know, I'm just here and there with it. So, but I recommend 4 times a year if you can, if you have the wellness enough to do it, when your schedule enough to do it, I say 4 times a year. That might be too much, then listen to your body. And if you're feeling so good on it, or you know you need to keep going, you know you have more parasites,
going.
I think if you keep a good diet and a good feeling in your heart, and you know that this is right for you, then yeah, you can keep going. I do say take a break from the parasite tincture because parasites get so smart, start to hybrid themselves. So you can take a break from the tincture and come back to it. You could take 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, a month off, a month on, but just really trying to trick them a little bit and taking a break from it if you've done it for a whole month in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something I love to tell people, because I felt the same way, is after you cleanse, you'll know exactly when it's time to cleanse again. Your body, you're in a state of homeostasis. Your body's talking to you. You feel good as you start reintegrating things back into your life, energies, around you back into your life. You'll just be so much more in alignment and in tune with your body and yourself. And it speaks to you, and you're now listening. So you'll know exactly when it's time to cleanse again.
And Ashley's been saying she's needed to detox for a while now. It's like,
I cleansed in August.
Oh, I've just been
And-
the past couple months. You've been
yeah,
like,
no, but
it's my thing now,
my
it's
body
fine.
is like, we get to detox. We get
So
to detox.
listening to
So
your body
listening.
and doing it when you think you need it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Your body will tell you exactly what it wants.
yeah,
You get to listen.
yeah.
I think there's lots of reasons people should cleanse multiple times a year. I mean, if not once, for sure.
For sure.
But
once
we
a year.
talk about like holidays and our traditions and travel and what was
Yeah.
another one that I was thinking just now?
How was, because you just came back from Hawaii?
Yes. So
How
I'm
was
thinking
it?
about cleansing
Yeah.
again.
Okay. Yes.
It was great. I was able to maintain my diet for the most part.
Yeah. Good.
Christmas is kind of what I was talking about.
Okay.
Like Christmas is hard because there's traditions, there's
Right.
recipes,
foods
like family
and
recipes,
meals,
foods,
yeah.
and things like that. So I think if you have been living more of a clean lifestyle, you can kind of take binder here and there. And it, like I did after my trip, I took binder and it was great. It's what I needed. I felt more energetic and I did have a great release. So that wasn't a full-on 10-day detox, but it was a little bit here and there that was helpful.
Good.
So I think you can implement it in your life as long as you, like, again, we talked about detox pathways, and you just don't want to jump into something without prepping your body. So that's why we have a great tool. The PDF tells you all about how to prep for your cleanse. And post as well, because post is important.
Truly, like, the quickest way to prep for the cleanse is changing the diet. Well, opening the pathways. You want to open the pathways immediately, change the diet, and start moving your body.
Cutting out that caffeine, move your body.
Quickest way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And eat your water.
Drink your water.
Drink your water. Eat your fruits and veggies, and stay away from the things that you know are heavy, that are heavy to digest. I know what are heavy for me to digest. I know what I want, and I know what I don't want. And so listening to yourself truly, and trying to bring virtue to that for you.
Yeah. And this cleanse is so much more than just 10 days. This is truly a powerful, life-changing tool that you'll have with you, and it will stay with you forever to be able to utilize and detox and cleanse and listen to your body and know when that is. I just think of all the fires that we've had, just our air. We could deep dive into a lot of things, but we are up against a lot right now. And so just having the knowledge of how to really, truly take care of your vessel and how to cleanse and detox your vessel is so powerful, and it's needed more now than ever.
Yeah.
So
very good. Now, they say we consume credit cards worth of microplastics a week, whether we're absorbing it from our clothes or we're eating it in our foods or drinking it from our water. And then on top of that, we continue to feed. Like what Chick-fil-A sandwich has over 100 ingredients. And so we keep feeding ourselves the processes that our body is not meant to digest, and we're going to become...
That's where the mucoid plaque comes in too. All these foods that your body literally doesn't know what to do with. It was never meant to digest. So
you have to remember the most restaurants, they're getting the best cost they can, all the food, the best cost they can. And on most of this food's inorganic, and it's sprayed with glyphosate all day long. It's grown with poisons in it, and it's grown with things in it, hormones in it, everything in it to, keep the food a certain way, but it's poisoning you.
It's a lot of metabolic dysfunction.
So much metabolic dysfunction. Yeah. And then all this, on top of that, all the seed oils, that's just basically engine lubricant, right? Yeah, so
inflammation.
We have to really be, conscious when you are looking at a box of something to buy, just like all natural, organic. No, turn the box around, look at the ingredients. Does it have, what is the first ingredient? That means that's the most. Yeah. Second ingredient, that means that's the most. And you turn something around, usually it's got, wheat and sugar is the first two ingredients. And so, or sunflower oil or, anyway, so just really being conscious to the ingredients that you are ingesting. And when you're shopping for your food and doing all that, it's so important.
And when we can all collectively start doing that, that's when we start winning. That's when we start taking back our health. And that's when these big companies
they'll start having to make yummy food that are actually just pure ingredients.
Right?
We can make yummy food in a box with pure ingredients. Let's do it.
You don't need 15 ingredients for fruit leather.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
you turn around like an almond milk and it's got all these...
you think you're doing the healthier option, but not necessarily.
So look at the ingredients.
And a lot of things we found, I think, gluten-free hasn't always been
right. And vegan food is the worst. The packaged vegan food.
Oh yeah, the processed vegan food
try to make your own food
so
as
chemical.
Much as you can.
And all the fake meats and all the fake cheeses, you got to read the ingredients. What are you eating? Is it made out of organic nuts or is it made out of chemicals and petroleum-based
Is this made
substance?
in a lab with chemicals?
Yeah.
Or was this, offered by Mother Nature herself? Because we are, those are what we're made up of, all the same elements. So
gotta lower that toxicity level.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we all are full
living
of
in a toxic
toxicity,
world.
and we get asked all the time, how do I even know I have parasites? We have never. Have any of you guys done a 10-day cleanse on someone without a parasite or a worm?
Has parasites.
We all have parasites. We all have worms. It's inevitable. in the world we live.
You're
you get
born
in
with
fruits,
them, passed
veggies.
from your mother even, like,
Right.
you know.
So it's just knowing and having that power again to how to support your body and to detox and get rid of these things so we can continue to thrive and live in the way we're meant to.
It's pretty wild that it's this year that that this is trending. That parasites is now a new thing. It's like,
no, it's
I know
been
you guys,
here
people, just so you know, I've been
forever.
doing this a while.
Yes.
Now
A
being on the
while.
forefront. So
Yes.
I'm glad that you're all joining me.
Yes.
yes,
We're grateful that you.
for bringing it,
Yeah.
bringing this
Yes.
awareness to the world.
Yeah. Thank you for
you.
being here with us, with me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been like the whole intention, and it's your guys' intention now to bring that light and to help spread the awareness, bring in that consciousness, and help others really connect back to their light so they can transform and have their power that we've all been born with and have. It's our right.
And
It's
yeah,
very
and when
exciting.
someone comes in and works one-on-one with us for the 10-day, like, you know, they're not doing it at home. They're one-on-one
Right.
working, and it's really profound. You come day 1, you know, we're on kidneys. Day 2, you're on spleen. Day 3, you're on heart. But we're asking you, what are you feeling about this? How do you feel about the generational blame? What are in your what are in your genes? How do you know your ancestors? To spleen, mother, what's your relationship like with your mother? So you're in the thick of it when you're one-on-one with us. And these angels of ours, these light workers, they're so incredible to sit with you, process the emotions and experiences of life that you've had. And they hold the most incredible space. It's beyond measure, and it's so much love that you are pouring into the
grateful
world.
It's
that
invaluable, truly. It's invaluable.
Yeah. And so I just wanted to give recognition to you guys and love to you guys. And just to the audience listening, know that you have a safe space to come to cleanse, to heal, and to have, to be heard. And yeah, we'll sit with your trauma and we'll sit with your healing and all the joy and love and forgiveness and processes of life that it takes us to let go. So, Trish, how can anyone find you outside of the sanctuary if they wanted to reach out?
You can find me on Instagram at Trish Life Integrated.
Okay, love that. And Crystal, how about you?
So I'm also on Instagram. It's Awakened with Crystal, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more about our store, and
Yes.
as it starts to open, just posting more on that. But the Sanctuary website, you can find our booking availability.
Yes.
So go there.
Yeah. You can book with our light workers or just
Come and
do the
visit us.
10-day
Come do the
hunt.
10-day.
In the works. I know this has been in the works for a while, but really retreats,
Yeah.
10-day
We'll have
detox
a
retreats.
10-day detox retreats where you can just come and it's all inclusive and just very deep immersive experience that will be coming as well. So many exciting things happening.
Yeah.
And we're just so excited. We feel like we have the best team doing it alongside with us. And we just really, truly feel so grateful.
Yes.
So
Cheers.
cheers.
Love you guys.
Light juice. We'll even have an organic juice bar. We'll feed you liquid light.
Liquid
Light
light,
bed.
the light bed, and the colon hydrotherapy bed. Which I had a dream last night. Yeah, I had a dream, because I want to manufacture these things, and I had a dream that we were manufacturing them, and it was a Spectra light bed and a colon hydrotherapy bed.
All in one.
All in one.
That's cool.
I know. And I was like, okie doke, we're going to try something.
There was
rainbows coming out of the colon.
There you go.
But having some sort of infrared light with the colonic bed, right? And maybe tuning some frequencies, that'd be extra. So,
It's pretty magical coming in.
cheers to the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers. We're
And,
so excited. This is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And we're just so excited.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in and joining with us today with Trish, Crystal, and Ash. And we'll see you on the next one.